Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're taking a close look at Newmont, ticker NEM. You shared several sources with us, and our mission today is to really distill what's most important about this gold mining giant right now.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit to work through. Company overviews, some recent performance data from early this year, 2025.
Okay.
Details from their Q4 2024 earnings report, a more recent due diligence piece from this month, April 25.
And even updates from today, April 15th.
That's right. So yeah, a good stack of information to unpack for everyone.
So what we want to understand is, what are the key takeaways about Newmont's current financial health, its position in the mining industry?
And what might lie ahead based on all this info?
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
Starting with the fundamentals, what kind of company are we actually talking about here?
Well, fundamentally, Newmont is a leading global gold producer, big presence worldwide.
Right, gold focus.
Primarily gold, yes, but it's important to know they also pull out other metals. Think copper, zinc, lead, and silver, too.
Okay, so not just a pure gold play.
Not entirely. And a big part of their operating principle, or how they present themselves, is this emphasis on sustainable and responsible mining practices.
That seems increasingly important these days.
It really is. And they strategically set up shop in what are considered, favorable mining jurisdictions across several continents.
Got it. Major global player, diversified metals, focus on sustainability.
Yeah.
Now, how have they been doing financially speaking? The sources mention improvements in 2024.
They did see improvements. Higher gold prices certainly helped in 2024. That was a big factor.
Naturally.
But they also point to operational efficiencies they achieved, getting more streamlined.
Right.
And if we look specifically at the end of the year, Q4 2024, their adjusted net income was $1.591 billion,
Wow.
which works out to $1.40 per diluted share. And what's interesting is that strong operational performance in that quarter led to record cash flows.
Record cash flows in Q4 and looking ahead.
They expect a pretty robust balance sheet in 2025. That's partly helped by selling off some assets, divestitures.
Right. Those divestitures strengthen the books. That $1.591 billion net income figure really stands out. Did the reports give a full-year revenue number for 2024?
They did. For the full year 2024, total revenue came in around $18.68 billion.
$18.68 billion? How does that compare to previous years? Is there a trend?
There's a definite upward trend, yeah. Over the past 3 years, the revenue's shown strong growth. The compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, is about 10%.
Okay.
So going from roughly $15 million back in 2022 up to that $18.68 billion in 2024.
That's solid growth. And you mentioned cash flow earlier.
Right. The free cash flow saw a really significant improvement in Q4 2024 specifically. It hit approximately $1.6 billion for the quarter.
Okay, that consistent growth and strong cash flow are definitely positives. Now, let's get a bit more balanced. What are the main strengths that jump out for Newmont?
Well, a key one is their portfolio of what they call Tier 1 gold assets.
Tier 1 asset, what does that mean exactly?
Basically, these are large-scale, high-grade deposits. They tend to have long mine lives and, crucially, lower production costs. That gives them a real competitive edge,
Lower costs, longer life. Makes sense. Other strengths.
Their leadership position itself. Being a major global gold producer carries weight. And we should definitely underscore their strong ESG commitments, environmental, social, governance.
ESG is huge now for investors.
Absolutely. It's increasingly critical. Now, on the flip side, are there any concerns highlighted?
Yeah, what are the potential headwinds?
One thing mentioned is their co-product production, specifically copper from places like their Cadia mine.
Okay.
That's actually expected to decline in 2025. The reason given is they'll be processing lower grade ore there.
So less copper byproduct coming out next year. That's something to keep an eye on.
Definitely. It impacts the overall revenue mix. That lower valuation we might see later, despite good results, could reflect the market pricing in that copper decline risk, or maybe the lawsuit we'll get to.
Interesting point. And the ESG focus you mentioned, that's not just optics.
No, seems not. It can genuinely attract certain types of investors, like large institutions, and potentially lower their long-term risks around regulations and just, their license to operate in communities.
Okay, lower copper output is a key watch item. Let's pivot to the market's view. How is Newmont being valued right now, as of April 2025? What's the sentiment?
Right. Looking at valuation metrics gives us some clues. Their price-to-earnings ratio, the PE, was around 16 in April.
And how does that stack up?
It's actually slightly below the industry average, so, PE tells you what investors pay per dollar of earnings. A lower number could suggest it's potentially undervalued compared to peers.
Interesting. Undervalued potential. What about debt?
Their debt-to-equity ratio is quite conservative. It's 0.35, so not overly leveraged, pretty healthy.
That's good to hear. Profitability metrics.
Return on equity, ROE, is around 14%, which is decent, indicates good profitability. Well, it's worth noting that some of their main competitors are showing higher ROE figures, so good, but maybe lagging the very top performers in that specific metric. On the other hand, their price-to-book ratio is about 1.8. That suggests investors do see future growth potential. They're willing to pay more than just the book value.
So PE potentially low, solid price to book.
Yeah.
Mix there. What about direct returns to shareholders, like dividends?
The dividend yield is pretty attractive, actually, currently near 3%, and the payouts have been consistent recently.
Nearly 3%. That's nice income.
Yeah.
And volatility. How does the stock move compared to the market?
Their beta is approximately 0.9.
Less than 1.
Right. So theoretically, it tends to be slightly less volatile than the overall market. Offers a bit of relative stability, maybe?
And what are the analysts saying? What's the overall feeling?
Sentiment seems cautiously optimistic, I'd say. Zacks currently has them rated as a hold.
Just a hold.
For now. But there's talk of potential for an upgrade depending on how these upcoming earnings turn out.
Okay.
And despite that hold rating, the stock has actually done really well recently. It's up nearly 19% in just the past month.
19% in a month. That's significant.
It is. It's outperformed its sector and the S&P 500 over that period, so something's driving that momentum.
Definitely something driving it. Which leads us nicely into the very recent stuff. What's been happening right up to today, April 15th?
Okay, several key things just happened or are about to. First, the big one. First quarter earnings for 2025 are due very soon, April 23rd.
Next week.
Exactly. And the expectation, the anticipated earnings per share, or EPS, is $0.80.
80 cents. How does that compare?
That would be a huge jump, a 45% increase compared to Q1 last year. So massive focus on that number.
45% increase expected. Wow. What else?
We also saw the recent retirement of 2 board members. So some shifts happening in leadership.
Okay. Any reason given?
The sources didn't specify the reasons, just noted the change.
Gotcha. Anything else?
Yes, and this is potentially more concerning. A class action lawsuit was filed on April 1st.
Oh, what's that about?
It alleges issues with corporate governance. The specifics weren't fully detailed in the summary, but that's the gist.
A corporate governance lawsuit. Does that hit the stock?
It apparently caused a slight dip initially when the news broke.
But you said the stock was up 19% this past month.
Correct. Despite that lawsuit news, the stock closed yesterday, April 14th, at $54.79. So it recovered from that dip and showed that strong monthly performance overall.
So strong earnings expected, leadership changes, and this lawsuit cloud hanging there. A mixed bag of recent news.
Exactly. It seems the market, for now, is focusing more on the positive earnings outlook, given the recent price action. But that legal risk is definitely something to monitor. Could change the narrative.
Makes sense. Now, how does Newmont stack up against the competition? Who are the main rivals we should think about?
Well, the key competitors are other major gold miners. You're talking about companies like Barrick Gold, AngloGold Ashanti, Kinross Gold, and Agnico Eagle.
The big names in the space.
Pretty much. And one area Newmont often gets highlighted, as we mentioned, is sustainability. They've often been a leader in various ESG indexes compared to peers.
Right, the ESG focus.
Yeah.
How do they compare on the financial metrics we discussed, like PE or debt?
When you look side by side, Newmont's PE ratio seems competitive within that group. Their debt to equity, that 0.35 number, looks quite healthy compared to many peers.
Okay.
But as we noted, that return on equity, the ROE, while good, does seem to trail some of the top performers in the peer group.
So strong on ESG, competitive valuation, healthy debt, but maybe lagging a bit on ROE.
That seems a fair summary of the comparison. So you have these factors like the copper production dip, but the market valuation seems sort of okay, especially against competitors on some key metrics.
Okay, pulling it all together then. Looking ahead, what's the future outlook based on these sources? What are the key catalysts and risks for investors?
Well, the immediate catalyst is clearly that Q1 2025 earnings report on April 23rd. That's huge.
What are they hoping to see?
Positive results, hitting or beating that $0.80 EPS expectation could really boost confidence and maybe trigger those analyst upgrades we talked about.
Beyond earnings.
Their strategic expansion efforts are important. They mention projects in places like Argentina, specifically the tornado and hurricane properties. The goal there is to grow their resource base. That's key for long-term value.
Expanding resources for the future. Makes sense. What about the risks?
On the risk side, you've got potential supply chain disruptions that can always hit mining operations, costs, profitability.
The general industry risk?
Pretty much. Then there's the ongoing legal risk from that class action lawsuit we discussed. Need to watch how that develops.
The governance lawsuit. Got it.
And, of course, there are the broader macroeconomic factors. Fluctuations in commodity prices, especially gold and copper, will always have a big impact on their bottom line and stock performance.
Commodity prices are always key for miners. So summing up our look based on the sources, it feels like Newmont's showing strong financial performance right now.
It does seem that way, especially with those high expectations for Q1 earnings.
And their strategy focusing on those Tier 1 assets and the ESG commitment, that seems well received by the market.
Apparently so, despite those headwinds like the lower copper output projection and that recent lawsuit.
So the earnings report next week is really pivotal then?
Absolutely. It'll be crucial for confirming these positive trends. It'll be really interesting to see how the market actually reacts to the numbers versus the anticipation.
Definitely something to watch. And investors should keep an eye on commodity prices and any news on that lawsuit, as those could cause some bumps.
For sure, those could introduce volatility, but also keep an eye on that expansion, like in Argentina. That could be a really significant long-term growth driver.
So what stands out is this mix, isn't it? Solid recent performance, promising near-term forecasts, but also some complexities like the copper and the legal issue.
Yeah, it's a pretty good snapshot of where things stand right now. It highlights how you have to weigh these different factors, the strong numbers versus potential risks when looking at a company like this.
Well, we hope this overview has given everyone listening some clarity on the key aspects of Newmont based on the sources provided today.
For more detail, obviously digging into that upcoming earnings report when it lands, and any news after today, April 15th, would be the next step.
Absolutely. If you found this analysis helpful, please do subscribe, like, and maybe leave us a comment with any further questions you might have.
Let us know what else you're curious about in the world of investing.